Hello to all, I am Pascal Girard. Welcome to everyone to this webinar. Thank you very much for your time. Today we'll see how to transform an electronic into a PLC. Our goal today is to pave you the road of success in this process. If you have any questions or comments, you can use the chat zone. We will answer your question at the end of the webinar. Let's go. I'm Pascal Girard. After 25 years of experience in industrial software development and 10 years in sales, I am here at Straton Automation, where I enjoy working with our customers to get the best solutions.
Hello all, so my name is Anthony Bury. I work at Straton Automation since more than 7 years now. I started as a tester, then I did some support, trainings and pre-sales, and now I lead the customer services team for Straton.
Thank you, Anthony. Let us now have a look on the agenda of this webinar. I will be with you on the first 30 minutes. First, I will introduce the company and what we do. Then, we will see which question we have to ask ourselves to get the best solution for our application. In part 3, we will explore the 8 factors that help to select the best solution. Once the solution is chosen, we go in implementation phase. So we will see the steps expected in part 4. To give an example of our solution, Anthony will give you a demo of Gateway to the Cloud. And we will end with a questions and answer session. Thank you. We are Straton Automation in the Copa Data Group. We have the same goal since more than 20 years, developing automation software, SoftPLC Straton and Xenon SCADA HMI. What do these two software have in common, apart from the fact that we are in the same group using the same tools and rules? Well, we use the same stack and logic, Xenon Logic for Copa Data. It is very effective when you are using both solutions. Here, in French Alps, we develop software for industrial automation, which includes an editor, a SoftPLC, the runtime, and other tools and stacks. Our goal is to develop the best software, always including new features, to bring sustainable, competitive advantages to our customers. Some figures? This year, we have reached over 300,000 runtimes installed worldwide, and we are working with many partners since more than 15 years. We are active all over the world thanks to our extended network of Copa Data local subsidiaries and distributors. You see, automation is everywhere. That's why we cover nearly all industries. In other words, all sectors that require control, regulation, or automating tasks. We have references ranging from mobile automation, small machines, to power grid management. In embedded, because today we are especially talking about embedded, it can be, for example, control systems for a bus or a coach, a farm tractor or a fire truck. They came to us because CAN or G1939 integration were very easy, or in the giant cruising ship. It can be also in weighing systems. It's a specific process in a machine like a cemetery or a diagnostic machine. Or building management with a pump or a cooling system, or even irrigation management. You see here, embedded can also mean utilities and energy, as the case of metering or water management system. We are very experienced in this field, and I've already realized many interesting projects. But today we won't go too deep into utilities and energy industry, as we will have a dedicated webinar for this attention in a few weeks. Be sure we'll keep you posted. Do you recognize your market here? This webinar is interactive, so feel free to participate and let us know in the chat your questions and comments. Thank you. Now I'm going to share with you what you need to know in order to identify the best solution for your application. As I said before, automation is everywhere. You see here in this figure, trains, buildings, trucks, tanks, pumps, wind turbines, factory, energies, TSOs or plants, everywhere. But above all, you want to have control, regulation, automated tasks in a rough and tiny environment, and more communicating. At the age of IT/OT, this is embedded today. And to help me finding the best solution, I have to know many things. Of course, I can have different situations. Launching a new product, upgrading an existing one by bringing more intelligence or communication capabilities. What do I need to know in order to make the best choice? At Straton Automation, we meet manufacturers from all over the world and support them in the development of their project since years. The strength of our proposal is that we have enough experience to help you find the right solution for your needs. Today, I will share with you my experience and tell you the questions to ask yourself at the beginning of your project. So, what are my drivers? I should say first, industry and its standard. I must know my market and the standard to support, like in mobile automation, I could need CAN or G1939. In water sector, it could be DNP3, MVB for rail, or I may need to comply with EN 61508 safety in the near future. It is the first. It's also characteristics of my application. I must ask myself, do I need to program in IEC 61131 languages? Or the C language is sufficient? Or I need both? Which performance reliability I need? Do I need determinism? That means real-time information. Or many IOs? Which kind? And which cycle time? Or does my client need access to the editor? Or I have to include the editor in my configuration too? These are the characteristics of my application. It's also budget. What will be my machine cost? In combination with the volumes, this can give me an idea of the budget. This will allow me to identify the necessary and possible investments. It's linked, but it's quantities. My selling perspectives. Do I plan to make a few hundred or produce 10,000 units? This can be very important because some PLC companies like Straton Automation, for example, offer decreasing prices. It's also planning and strategy. That means time to market, of course. Do I have the time or do I have an obsolescence problem forcing? But it also means, do I plan to produce this device for years? And that impacts my choice. That could include the question, do I need to master my product lifecycle for the best evolutive solution? Also a big factor, resources, which resources, human and material, I have today. Can I make the soft PLC myself with the sources? Or do I have to buy the runtimes ready to use for my target? These are important drivers. Most of times, this combination, very small systems in which the place and cost are important criteria, puts PLCs out of the race. These questions are essentials before starting any project. Your answers to these questions will determine the perfect solution for your application. That's why it's very important to be able to answer them before proceeding with your project. No serious PLC company, soft PLC company, will offer you a solution without asking you these questions. Let's now have a quick look around. Please comment by yes or no if you can answer all of these questions today. If you have answered yes, then you are ready to move on to the next step of finding a soft PLC solution. But don't worry if you answer no. You can stay with us. Now we will have a look on what are the important factors, the points to check with the supplier in order to get the best solution. First, it's time to market. Imagine I must bring my device on the market in a short time. Or an obsolescence issue is foreseen for part of my system, or my customer will soon need solutions. Or I must be agile to support quickly my customer needs. Imagine you or EM gets a request from a customer for a new software feature, only software. You would like to add it, recompile the runtime, and update the customer's device. Do you think it could be possible with a standard PLC? That can mean I want to design my hardware solution and develop the application at the same time with a Raspberry, for instance. It's possible with a soft PLC. Second, I need the integration of a soft PLC runtime to be quick and easy. And as my application is written in PLC open standards, porting will not be difficult. It's all time to market. It's also flexibility. Flexibility in the future, I plan to run my application on different hardware or with different protocols. I want to address with the same platform the pharmaceutical and food and beverages market, or transportation and railway. Flexibility is when I can make a standalone balance weighing system and a big weighing one, scaling trucks. With a soft PLC, the same application can be ported to different hardware and operating system combinations, different kind of IOs or protocols. This means I will be able to potentially develop and maintain a common application, or at least a library of common functions that can run in different environments if needed. This will allow my customers to choose my specific combination of hardware and software, saving money on IOs and interfaces. It's also openness. I want an open solution because many of my projects are unique, and I want to adapt the application to the customer needs. Or my customer will want to adapt the application. Or the soft PLC will not be the only application on my device. For instance, I have an HMI. Or I want to include my added value features, my proprietary code. For instance, I must include my proprietary stack, or I want to use this new disruptive regulation model made by AppEdge. But including is not opening. Not only. I want also to protect my knowledge, IP secured into the PLC, by encapsulating my proprietary logic. Then I can mix my features to a soft PLC feature. This brings my device at the convergence of IT and OT, operation, intelligence, and communication. I must also follow the standard. Following standard is not only a trigger for my market. Following standard with ISA 61131 languages, but also with communication protocols. That means it will simplify the search for resources and the training of users. It helps to reduce ongoing maintenance costs. It will allow greater consistency of the development or migration of application. Even if a user changes soft PLC solution, the use of a standard IEC 61131 compliant application code can greatly reduce the cost of migration. This also applies to communication protocols such as CAN and now CANFD or MQTT, which are often integrated into soft PLC solutions. I want a soft PLC solution that keeps me up to date with changes from this standard, and then this benefit can be passed on to my customers. Thus, I can focus on my business. It's also financials. We have said previously that dimensions, which puts to be small, and cost are very important factor in embedded world. I need a cost-effective solution. I need to match exactly the feature I want, processor, memory, operating system, or no operating system. Like we using ARM processors, not high speed, not a lot of money, or memory, sorry, but enough for my application. I make especially the hardware and platform I want with exactly the IOs and field buses I need and not more. It is the best adjustment, far from an off-the-shelf solution. But if I want to make thousands, €1 is very important. And if I go fast in the integration, it's also money win. I want to control costs through the life cycle of my product, and I must know it from now. And I know that if I need more performance or complexity for a second kind of device, I will also look for openness factor. It is possible with some soft PLCs. Security. Security, my device communicates. Cybersecurity is critical now, currently. So I need the best secured solution. And security is not just now, but all along my product lifecycle. So I may want to have all the sources so I can master it better. And I can have my partner giving me secured communication protocols like with authentication and encryption, always up to date. Thus, I can focus on my business. For others, security would mean security for my product lifecycle. I want to be independent from the obsolescence of components or operating system. It's security for my intellectual property. I also want to keep using my code but encrypted. It's also performance. My PID loop must work efficiently and safely with a platform designed for determinists. That will mean use of real-time operating systems. Or I need to acquire quickly different kind of IOs. Or I have only 128 kilobytes to do my regulation. Today, multi-core CPU makes them capable of multitasking in a very powerful manner. Okay, but it's also a performance to bring control, regulation, communication in a very small CPU. And last point, product differentiation. It's a major point for SoftPLC. My customers are always looking for the four-leaf clover. And I can do it, make it unique. Many SoftPLC solutions offer functionality over and above the IEC 61131 language. I want to keep the standard part, but also the open one. Thanks to that, I've said by including an HMI, use specific features like my revolutionary regulation model, gets the redundancy, bring distributed operation capabilities, or get safety in the future. And if today I want CAN bus and MQTT on the same device or a specific field bus, it is easy. So we have seen the 8 factors. Depending on your position in the project as a developer, project manager, marketing, you may have different priorities, of course. Please tell me in the comments zone which of these factors is the most important for you. As you all have different profiles, you will see that the answers will not be the same. Thank you. Now, as we have identified everything which is important, what do we do now? At first, we go in a consulting phase in order to verify together if we have the best solution, technically and financially. In this period, you could be also in the design of your hardware. It's not an issue, as you can start the development of the application with another device, Raspberry, for instance. During this evaluation period, and I say evaluation because you can also test with the binary runtimes, we give you technical advice and try to propose you a solution matching completely with your 8 cursors. Then, when you think you have chosen the best solution, you can go in the integration phase. With Straton, it is 2 days workshop. After that, you have your PLC ready in your device, and you can start to program your application on the target. And we stay beside you, giving support to be efficient in the development and to answer to any of your customer needs. And if you need a new feature, be sure we'll help all along your product lifecycle. Most of times, we include it in our roadmap. You can ask to our partners, or you can just have a look on one of our release notes. This is why many customers work with us since more than 15 years, and some of them are at the 3rd generation of products. Now, I am engaged in this process. That means, first, I know well my landscape, my challenges, my business. Secondly, I've identified the important criteria for me. And finally, I've selected my partner, and we would be glad to be yours, of course. Then I can observe that possibilities are tremendous and unsuspected. I expect you will be better served in the future thanks to these answers. And I thank you very much for your attention. You will be able to see again this webinar in replay. And now I propose to you to see one result of what we have seen through a demo of Gateway to the Cloud from Anthony. And now, let's go, Anthony.
Okay, thank you, Pascal, for this great presentation. So let me just share my screen. quickly check that everything works. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm sure all of you try to guess what could it be? A gateway to the cloud. So first, do not worry, I will not try to sell you some drugs. Instead, I will show you through a practical example how to push data coming from an external device, from several external devices, to the cloud in an MQTT broker. So we will use a basic application, a kind of need you could encounter during a project development. And let's say you have this architecture. You have different Modbus slaves and one Profinet IO device, and you want to access to the different data and measures available on these devices. So you start checking on PLC's manufacturer's websites, in datasheets, to find the good PLC. You check that performances, supported protocols, number of IOs, and eventually the price fits to your needs. And then, after a while, you finally find the reference you need. You buy it. It comes with an editor to be able to program the application in the 5 languages of the IEC 61141-3. So for example, in FBD, in function block diagram. And you make your communication working. So that's it. It works and everybody is happy. Okay. Now you just have an idea or a request from your final customer. You need to send this data recovered from the Modbus and Profinet devices to the cloud. You need to send it to an MQTT broker. But you check your PLC's datasheet and you see that unfortunately this is not possible. It does not have this functionality. So what's next? Ideally, you will need a development kit to be able to add this MQTT capability to your PLC. And even more ideally, I would say, you will need to create your own PLC, an adaptable one. So you don't want to depend on a specific hardware, you want to make your own, or a specific operating system, then you can choose the one you need, the one specific adapted to your need. And eventually, you need to have different kind of PLCs, basic ones for small applications, and more powerful ones for the big projects. But also to be able to have only one editor, one kind of application, an application you can compile and put on all of your PLCs without thinking about its internal configuration. So it means the very same application can run on all of your PLC's family without having to be recompiled. Okay. So here, I do a small parenthesis of marketing. So with Straton, this is possible. Your PLC is not what we can call a soft PLC. So then you can make it. You add this MQTT capability into your runtime source code. You put the runtime onto your electronic device, and that's it. You have a fully working application with all the capabilities you needed, recovering data from your devices and pushing it to the cloud to an MQTT broker. So let's make it in practice. Well, not the whole process. We will not recompile the runtime with the development kit, but we will focus on this part. So let me just change my pointer. So we will make an application and we will put, so with the Straton editor, and we will put this application on a soft PLC. And in our case, it will be a Raspberry runtime, but it could be any kind of PLC embedding Straton. We will recover the data from one Modbus slave. It's simulating a measure on a 48 volts battery or generator. And after we have this data, we will put it to the MQTT broker. So I will show you in Straton. So for the ones who does not know Straton, it looks like that, the editor. You can see that it's available, first of all, in different languages. You have several important parts. So first, you have a start page as soon as you launch Straton, it starts with a start page. You have the tutorial Getting Started with Straton. It explains everything about how to create your own project, how to compile it, download it to the runtime. You have also demo projects installed already with the editor. And here at the bottom, I hope it's big enough for you to see it. We have several links. We have links to our website. So the general link, we have a link to the frequently asked questions section, to the download section in which you can find all tutorials or products available for Straton. And important also is the link to our YouTube channel, because there are a lot of tutorials who are available in video. So you have the PDF, but also the video format. And it's really helpful because sometimes it has practical demos and it's helpful to see it in video. So I will just quickly show you with the sample projects what it looks like once a project is open. So on the top left, you can have several projects in your project list. You can edit your programs. Once you open it, it comes here in the main window. So in this case, it's FBD. You can zoom in, for example, to see more things. Here at the top right, you have your dictionary with the list of available variables. So you just have to take it, drag and drop it in the editor, and that's it. At the bottom right, the list of blocks available in Straton. So the standard ones, but also custom ones. So for example, if you want to make a CAN bus communication, you have specific block, you have specific blocks for MQTT, for Modbus, and everything like that. And last thing, at the bottom, you have the build output. It will output every log messages if you compile the application. And here, the execution output shows everything coming from the runtime. So it means if there is a warning of an error from the runtime, it will be displayed here in your editor. So it's really practical. It's really useful to make the debug. Okay, so let's go. I will just create a new project, file, add new project. I put it here on my desktop. Rose, desktop, okay. I will call it my gateway. I choose the main language. So we have the five languages of the IEC. So function block diagram, sequential function chart, ladder diagram, structured text, and instruction list is also available, but it's hidden here because it has been duplicated. So we click on next, and then we can choose the protocols we will want to use in our application. So we can see CAN again, we can see all of the protocols we support, and we have here G1939 for embedded applications, the Modbus master to recover data from our Modbus slave, and the MQTT client to push this data to the cloud. Okay, we click on finish. Here we go in the Flibus configuration, and you will see that it's really easy. So we just have to use a configuration. We put the IP address of our slave. We click on OK. Then we say that we will read input registers because these are the data coming from our 48-volt generator. I say the base address is 5. I have 4 items. Declare variables in the dictionaries. I click on OK, and the configuration is ready. So I read the holding registers coming from the Modbus slave. So if I reopen the PowerPoint, it's here. We read the data in Straton through a Modbus master to read the data from the slave. Okay, and we'll configure the MQTT client to push it to the MQTT broker. So same principle, I create a configuration. I put a name, I put the IP address of the broker. And that's it. You can see that there are several parameters available, and you can also secure MQTT transfers with using TLS certificates, using TLS security with certificates. So I will not do the whole process because it will take a while. So I have an already running application. So I will just show you. It's really the same principle. I just connect to the runtime. It goes in run mode. I can see here, if I zoom a little bit, that I have data coming from my Modbus slave. Here I have a kind of test to check that I can also send data. And normally a LED is blinking here. Okay, so it blinks. Here I have a piece of program reconstructing the the real value I'm reading from the holding registers into a real value. So here the simulation of my generator. MQTT is already configured also. I just need then to use MQTT blocks to connect to the broker. So one thing which is also interesting in Straton, when you are in FBD, you have some graphics. So I can, for example, choose a switch. So it's really for the debug. I will put a button here to enable the connection. I will put maybe a LED, computer on off. Let's put this one. Okay. I just say that this button is linked to this variable. Be enable connect. I drag and drop it to the button. Okay. And then be okay pub, this variable, I link it via drag and drop to the LED. I go online again. I download the new application. I connect to the broker. Okay, it works. And then I will publish the data, my real value, which I'm measuring from the Modbus slave, to the MQTT broker. So I click on publish. It says publish is okay. And that's it. So if we go again in the PowerPoint, we recovered the data from the Modbus slave directly in the Straton application, and we made a gateway to the cloud, to the MQTT broker, and we push the data to the MQTT broker. So now you will say, okay, how to be sure it has been pushed in the broker? So we have also the possibility in Straton to subscribe to MQTT messages. So now we are publishing data to the topic web with the payload, which is the value of the real value of the measurement. So if you know MQTT, you know what is a topic or a payload, but it's nothing really hard to understand. So we publish under topic web this value, and we will take another application, MQTT subscriber, which is running on another Straton runtime, and it's the same principle. I connect to the broker. I subscribe to the topic web. Okay. I will just split my screens in two. Okay, my gateway is here. And normally, here, if I publish the data from my gateway, I will see in the runtime output in the MQTT subscriber, the data I just published. So I just double click on be publish. Okay. And immediately I can see that I subscribe here successfully to the data. So I recover the data from the MQTT broker into my application. So it was quite quick, but as you can see, doing a configuration in Straton doesn't matter what is the protocol, is really quick. So we made our gateway to the cloud, and it's the end of this practical demonstration. So thank you all for your attention. I hope you enjoyed this webinar and this demonstration, but be sure it's not finished now, so you have time for questions. So if you have any questions, you can ask it in the chat on the right here, and we will try to answer the best as possible. So that's your turn now. So I can see, can I use CAA libraries from Codesys in Straton? So CAA libraries, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but you know, as we have specific blocks with Straton, also Codesys has specific blocks, and not everything is compatible. So if these are specific blocks from Codesys, these ones, I will say these are not supported, unfortunately. But Codesys is able to export the programs in the PLC Open standard XML export format, and we can import it in Straton. Not everything, again, because some specific things are proper to Codesys, but most of the things are imported in Straton. So doing the merge from Codesys to Straton, it's not that hard. Of course, it always depends on what you did in the Codesys application, but it's possible. Few of our customers already did that. I see another question. Do you support OPC UA PubSub? So publish subscribe currently in OPC UA is not supported. We are currently reworking the OPC UA architecture, but for the moment it's only data published spontaneously and read through a kind of polling from the OPC UA client. A question from Thomas. Thank you, Thomas. Do you have a specific solution for embedded? Yes, I don't know, Pascal, you can answer.
Yes. Yes. As also. Yes. In our standard OEM model, we deliver the sources, and we have one solution for all platforms and all industries. We should say it's the same. It's the same. It's not typically a solution for embedded. We have some differences in some configuration, like if you want to have a 64 bits, it's not embedded, of course, but you get a specific part of software. So I should say it's the same. It's not a specific solution for embedded. Yes, and we have two protocols in standard in the embedded. It's Modbus and CAN G1939, and all other communication protocol or feed buses are optional. Does it answers to your question? You can comment in the same zone if you have some more question, yes, or if you want to extend it.
And your question, Thomas, I think it goes with the next question.
Yes.
Do you have a specific solution for embedded, and which electronic device hardware supports Straton runtime? So the principle with Straton is really that it's fully adaptable. It means that you can really customize it to your needs. So it doesn't matter which electronic you have. Of course, it has to be enough powerful if you want to do big applications, but you see what I mean? So it does not matter which electronic device you have. It doesn't matter which operating system you have. You can fully customize Straton and make it to fit to your needs. So you can use, I will say, any hardware, any electronic device, any operating system. You can have your own IOs. You have also a driver development kit included with the dev kit. So you can also develop your own driver to access to your IOs, your local IOs on your device, and implement, as we said for the demonstration, implement exactly the protocols you need. It means that we will not force you to implement MQTT and Modbus and Profinet and CAN if on your small target you only need a Modbus and CAN, for example, or G1939. So you can really customize the runtime to your need and customize it so it fits to your electronic.
I can add that you can use Straton on your platform with or without operating systems.
Yeah. So can we use the Straton 9.4 project in Straton 10? Yes. So you can do this. So the reverse, it's not always true, but using an old project on a more recent editor, it's okay. The reverse is not always true, because if you use the new editor, the new version, maybe you will have new blocks. So you will be tempted to use it, and then you will download the application on the old runtime, and then the old runtime will say, "Hey, you are using this block, but it's a new one. I do not know it. I don't know it." But yes, an old project in 9.4 on Straton 10, it's okay. And as you say, you can see that there are a lot of changes in Straton 10, and that's true. Here we are talking about embedded, but in every sectors, embedded, energy, automation, utilities, we made a lot of adaptations and a lot of improvements for Straton 10. Yeah.
Yes. I can see also this question. What did you mean on one slide by integrating the IDE? Oh, yes. Yes, we have three kinds of delivery for the IDE. I should say first, of course, the IDE off the shelf. Secondly, we have the IDE brand label to your company. to your needs. You can mask features and things like that. And third, I think it's the answer, integration of the IDE into your configuration tool. That means we deliver the widget, the control, and then you can include what you need into your tool. Please, if you need more information, you can comment. I expect I have answered to your question. I can see also a question. Can I use one developed libraries implemented in C, C++, C#, Python, and which compiler should I use then? I can answer, yes. C, it's easy. C++, it will depend on the platform, and C#, Python, it's not available. Also, I see a question, are you planning to release a 64-bit version of Workbench? I think so. It's already done. I keep the voice to Anthony.
So the Workbench in 64-bit, there is no. It's how to say, we could say it's already available because you can install Straton Editor on a 64-bit operating system. So this is what maybe 99% of people are doing. But there is no specific version for the 64-bit editor. It's the same for 64 and 32 bits, but it's. I don't know if you have specific requests about that, if you see that there is a limitation with the current editor, but normally there should be no restrictions and no need to make a 64-bit editor, I will say. But maybe if you ask the question, you have specific requests, so yes. Don't hesitate to ask the specific question, yes.
Yes, there was one question about marine class societies, and we have answered during the presentation. Anthony did. And I can just now see another question coming. I've missed one. Yes, can you make your demo again with OPC UA protocol? I'm afraid we cannot do that now because we have booked 1 hour. We can plan directly a demo with you in the next days. Of course, we have both OPC UA client and server. We can plan it and we will get in touch with you. I can see also the latest question, which operating system do you recommend? Not an easy question. We don't make the hardware, neither the operating system, but and it depends on the features you need. But anyway, we have done that for many operating systems, and with our experience, we could say it depends on your needs, your requirements. For instance, if you want to have communication features, I should say you could have a look, for instance, on Linux and Redux with this kind of operating system. But if you more like look for harsh real time, then it could be better to go and have a look on Redux, and VxWorks and QNX. Yeah, maybe at first VxWorks. Yes, for the harsh real time. Yes, and I can see one question. Can I install Straton on a Vago PFC 100 or 200 controller? I can say for some of them, yes. I give the microphone to Anthony.
Yes, so it was done at the time. Today, so the last time we did it, it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. So today I'm not so sure with the recent announcements it can run again without modifications, but yes, we did a driver to access to the Vago IOs, We already did the runtime for the Vago, and it was overriding the Codesys runtime. And yes, it was working. So I will say, if you have the specific need, we can check and adapt the runtime to your needs again. But yes, for the moment we don't have the ready-to-use runtime for the Vago.
Do you want to answer to the next question?
Yeah. Do you have a rapid prototype system to convert the 31 language to C or any selected processor? You can use post-compiler, but I'm not sure. We have to ask the developers to be sure about that.
In fact, our system is based when you compile your application in this compilation phase. You can produce two kinds of outputs for your application. First, standard one is the binary directly to be downloaded into the device. And secondly, you can also produce C code. So we can say, yes, you can produce C code. There is not so much performance difference between the C code that you have to recompile and the binary runtime produced by the editor. I expect it was answering to your question. I cannot see some other questions yet. So if you are okay, we will end with this webinar and expect to see you again on our next webinar talking about utilities, and that should be very interesting for some of you, I suppose. We expect you have enjoyed this webinar, learned a lot, and be well served for your future decisions. You can see this webinar again in replay, and we invite you to visit our website where you can find how to download the demo, for instance. Anthony and I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for your attention. Yes. We wish you all a nice day.
Thank you.